guest tonight has been on Comedy Central's Politically Incorrect and Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist. Please welcome a very funny comedian, Jeff Stilson.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to be here in New York. I live here now. Originally, I'm from a much quainter community, Spokane, Washington. I'll give you an idea how quaint Spokane is. Our zoo there at one point was named the worst zoo in North America by USA Today. And admittedly, it is pretty bad. Most of the animals in the zoo are native to the Spokane area. They just happen to be on the grounds when the zoo was built. We named our airport in Spokane the Spokane International Airport, even though there are no international flights. We got the idea for the name from the International House of Pancakes. Anyway, I've been here 8 years now, and the city has had an effect on me. It's hardened me. You know, when I first moved here, I was full of compassion. I gave money to every panhandler I saw. Now a head could come rolling up the sidewalk with a cup in its mouth, and I wouldn't be moved. Why should I give you money? I saw half a head on Broadway. Yeah, you think you got it bad? This guy couldn't even roll. Get a job. When I first moved here, I was worried about the crime in New York, and it is pretty pervasive here. You know, when I fall asleep at night in New York, it's usually to the sound of car alarms blaring. The car alarm is the New York equivalent of the cricket. But crime isn't just a New York City problem anymore. It's getting bad everywhere. In recent years, well, there's been the spate of massacres at the post office, and I couldn't understand how so many people could die in these incidents until I was in the post office once when a lunatic walked in, you know, screaming threats at all of us. He could very well have had a gun, yet not one of us fled or died for cover. You know why? We didn't want to lose our place in line. That's what an hour in the post office will do to a person. Will sap him of his will to live. And I think I know why we have such bad crime in this country. Our priorities are screwed up. Here's an example. A few terms ago, our Supreme Court ruled that forcing one inmate to share a cell with another who smokes is cruel and unusual punishment. In other words, our justices decided that a prisoner can still sodomize his cellmate. He just can't enjoy that come-down cigarette afterward. You know, we really have lost sight of the big picture. I think because we're so preoccupied with trivial issues, you know, like language. One wrong word now and people can be offended. We aren't stewards, we're flight attendants. You know, whatever you are, go fetch me some peanuts and a Diet Coke. You can be astronauts if you want. I don't care. I'm thirsty now. Leave me alone. Somehow we've convinced ourselves that we're helping people merely by using the proper terminology when referring to them. They aren't bums or winos, they're the homeless. I guess we figure it's bad enough that people have to sleep in the gutter. We certainly wouldn't want them to suffer from low self-esteem as well. Both Republicans and Democrats now are calling for a return to family values to cure our societal ills. Family values, of course, are guiding principles that parents instill in their children, like do unto others as you would have others do unto you. We had really specific ones in our family, like don't ever sit on your Uncle Wayne's lap. I just became an uncle for a second time. My brother and his wife had a baby girl. I haven't met her yet. My mother, as she gave me the scoop, she told me she's the most beautiful baby that I've ever seen. Her head is perfectly round. I only wish that I were judged by such slack criteria. Mr. Stilson, we've decided to offer you the job because your head is incredibly spherical. Oh, well, thank you very much. I smooth the edges every day. So, I don't have any children of my own. My wife and I do have a dog, though, a pug named Ernest. Last year we bred our dog, and because he had never had sex before, he didn't know how to do it. So we had to use artificial insemination. We took him to our vet, and she manually coerced the requisite fluids from his body. Cost $82 a pop, you know, which is a lot, considering we could have taken him to Times Square and paid 10. The downside was the procedure was expensive. The upside is our dog doesn't mind going to the vet anymore. Anyway, thank you very much.
Jeff Stilson, everybody. We'll be right back. Stick around. Here with Jeff Stilson. That was a very funny set.
Thank you very
much for being here tonight. You mentioned you were from Washington State.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you got to be excited about the
Mariners.
The Mariners.
Because
that's exciting.
I grew up in Spokane, but I moved here from Seattle, Washington 8 years ago. And I don't know if you know about Seattle, but it has the highest suicide rate in North America.
Is that true?
That's true because of the rain. It depresses people, and then they kill themselves. You know, which has to be really tough on the weatherman.
I would think. It's a lot of pressure.
Tomorrow, let's just say it's not going to be that sunny.
Such a burden for that guy.
Yeah, we're excited about it. We really hopped on that bandwagon quickly.
Really?
The Mariner bandwagon, yeah. But I think in the Northwest, we're mostly football fans. I went to the University of Washington. We used to have a good football team there. And that's my favorite sport. I love to watch football games on TV. I like the games. I could do without the interviews after the games, though, because the winning players always give credit to God while the losers blame themselves. You know, just once. Just once I'd like to hear a player say, yeah, we were in the game until Jesus made me fumble. He hates our team.
I've never heard that.
All athletes do this, so it's not just football players, you know. Even some boxers thank God for their triumphs, you know.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, without Jesus, I couldn't have crushed my opponent's skull tonight and rendered him brain dead. I've been blessed by the Lord.
One of the ironies of the sports world, you have to call it.
Do you watch sports on television? Or?
Yeah, I like to watch basketball because the game moves. I like watching basketball on TV. I think baseball, you know, translates pretty well.
Are there any sports that you purposely avoid?
Highlight. Won't watch highlights.
Good for you.
Yeah, just won't do it.
See, bowling is the sport I won't watch because I feel so sorry for the commentators in bowling. You know, the sport is so predictable. There's just a ball in an alley. There's no defense, no obstacles, no strategy. So, Jim, what do you think you'll do on this one? She's probably going to try to knock those pins down. Back to you. You might have noticed that there's no drug testing yet in bowling. It's only because no one cares about bowlers. You know?
Haven't gotten around to that. Do you actually play any sports?
I used to try. I wasn't a great athlete. Well, in high school, I went out for the wrestling team. That turned out to be a huge mistake. I had the wrong idea about high school wrestling. I thought it was like professional wrestling. I showed up at the first practice wearing a cape and elf slippers. Coach made me run laps.
It doesn't quite work out that way. All right. Well, do you want to tell us where you're going next? Anything like that, or?
Well, I'll be around the sea. Probably.
He'll be around. Yeah. You'll see him around, hanging around. All right. Well, listen, Jeff, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Really good to have you with us. Jeff Stilson, everybody. We'll be right back with Jeff Greenfield. Stick around.